Hey guys, what's up? I'm Dannic. We're here in my studio in Breda, and today I'm gonna take on the Slam Studio Challenge. Meaning I'm gonna try to create a track in just 1 hour. Never done this before, I have no clue what I'm gonna make. But yeah, let's get started. So usually when I start a song, I can start with just a simple kick drum. And for this project, let's say we're gonna try and start on 128 BPM, which is like the normal dance BPM. It's actually where I kind of produce all my tracks in that BPM. It just works really well. It's easy to mix for all the DJs out there because you don't have to pitch it that much. And yeah, there are like two things. You can start with either a drop or a melody. Sometimes it's really easy. I have like a melody pops in my head while I'm in the shower or whatever. I record it on my iPhone, and that's sometimes the way to do it. Or I can just start by playing the piano a little bit. And I think for now that's what I'm gonna do because I didn't prepare anything. I'm using Logic X, by the way. I started with Cubase, then worked my way on to Logic Pro. I still have it over here, by the way. But now, everyone is using Logic X, so it's easier to collab with. And of course, it's 2016, so you want to be on top of your game all the time. All right, we have a kick drum, which is, I actually always use the same kick drum because it's part of my signature sound. It has an attack that I really like, and of course, depending on the key of the track, I only change like the low frequencies of it. So right now, I think, let me see, I have a tuner for that. I think it's in, this kick drum is in G. But actually it doesn't really matter in which key your kick is. You just have to listen with your ears. I think that's still the best advice I can give you. Because sometimes my kick drum is not in the right key and it still just works really well. So that's just a matter of, listen to your ears. All right. I think I'm gonna start by working on a drop melody. Just gonna use Nexus for it. Nexus is really easy to use. It has some amazing presets. They all sound like super clean already. So you can have a really good idea on what your song is gonna sound like. And of course, all the tracks that I make, like I start with a preset or something that I made myself, and I just modulate everything. So that meaning by that, like I put distortion on it, echoes, reverbs, everything, just to make it sound unique and make it sound better than it is already. I'm just gonna work with this sound to come up with an idea. So actually what I'm doing, I'm not a piano player. I just learned it myself by doing it, by producing music. But what I do need, if I have no clue what I'm doing in the studio, I just or what I want to make, I just play a little bit like this, just to find the right keys. Actually, this sound is quite fat already. So if I know like what kind of key I'm working in, I'm just gonna pop up the piano roll, which is where I'm gonna draw all the keys I just played. Which is, for me, I need to see what I'm doing. That's just the way I work. But if you're like a really cool piano player like Beethoven or something, be my guest. And I always need a kick drum as well, just to get that feeling. So I know what I'm doing. this sounds a little bit. Oh, that's my computer freaking out. Something like that. It doesn't sound really fat at all at the moment. Really cool plugin to use, what I use all the time to make it sound more distorted, and actually by using a basic preset you can really make a different sound out of it. That's a little bit too much, but that's actually, I like this one actually. You can play with the dry and wetness, so you can, this is the sound where I started with, and this is what it's going to sound like. Obviously right now it's not sidechain yet, so it doesn't have the, it doesn't duck the moment the kick drum is playing. I always sidechain with a separate bus, meaning yeah, you can control everything more. So usually I sidechain my bass sounds and my leads, I sidechain them separately. That way I can mix easier while I'm finishing the track. Sidechaining is really easy to use. Is the LFO tool by Xfer. I actually got some presets here. Here the drop Dannic. You can actually see what you're doing. You can see where the kick drum is working. So right now this is just the attack of the kick which is coming through, and then the rest will just stay there. So this is without, and this is with. Make it shorter, I don't know yet. It's not totally what I want it to be. Sometimes by making notes shorter you can give more speed to it. I usually turn off the built-in reverbs and delays of the Nexus because I just don't like them that much. And a great reverb to use is a free plugin called Valhalla. I use it all the time. You can just play around with it, just with the default setting here. It has a really crispy sound that I really like. And EQing, most of the time I just use the built-in EQ of Logic. And what I'm doing right now, I'm just getting rid of a few of the lower frequencies that are in this lead. And as you can hear, because I want to fill those frequencies with a separate bass line that I'm going to add later. And what I really like to do, and you go to modulation here, you can add some glide to the notes. So right now it's all like plain and simple, but it's cool to have the notes glide to each other. But not too much, maybe. Okay. And this is like, wait. Now I'm gonna make sure that it's will be interesting to listen to. You can actually hear the notes gliding towards each other. It's kind of cool. But the sidechain is a little bit too much. Oh, I'm just gonna move a few notes. Like this. Wait. Okay. Now usually I make a track, yeah, like in a few days, like the structure of a track and melodies and stuff, and sometimes it can go up to a month before I'm super happy with it. So I'm like a perfectionist when it comes down to all the details, the special effects, or maybe some goofs that I make in tracks as well. So for me, it's actually really hard to make a track in 1 hour, but just let's see where where we're getting here. Now I'm gonna add a bass line because I just can't live without a bass line, and I think the good thing about Logic, by the way, is that, and what helps building your own signature sound, is saving sounds that you used before and try to use them in another way. So right here I have like all my own presets that I saved from previous songs. Like here, for instance, Dannic bass Million. That means I did a Christina Million remix, and I made a bass sound for it, and it's like super sick. It's like super low, it's like almost Skrillex sounding. So I'm gonna use that for this bass line. And as you can see, I just pulled it up like that with all the plugins over there. I got a multipressor here, which functions like an OTT. An OTT is like a multi-band compressor, which can make it sound more, even better. But this is a little bit too low for it. And if I make a bass line for it, you have to make sure that all the notes are not like playing all the octaves up and down. We need to bring them together a little bit more, because otherwise it just won't sound fat. Oh. So you get this, actually this is just a rhythm. So in this case the bass line follows the lead sound. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it in the end, but still for me. What I also like to mention is that I never use a master channel. So the only thing on my master right now is a gain, which is minus 12 dB, but that's because we're recording this and we don't want the video to sound distorted. So you're actually mixing everything without a master change. So that's why I'm making sure that everything sounds as clean as possible before I master it. And I never even master it. I just do like a few, yeah, like an end compression a little bit, and maybe a little end EQing, but that's about it. And this sounds already like super sick, but that's just because there are only like 3 elements. So they say less is more. I think, okay. Now we need to layer this sound a little bit more, because it sounds like, sounds a little bit whack. I'm just gonna use another next. I just actually duplicated it. I'm just gonna look for more cool stuff to use. Let's say block tropolis, I don't know. Actually, the bass sound would be better. Let's see, soft bass. No, trash again. Magic. But it needs some EQing as well. Just to add some crispiness to it, I'm just gonna EQ the shit out of it, just because I can. And it works all the time. There are no rules. Like a lot of people say, no, you can't EQ something. You can add no more than what 4 dBs. No, bullshit. You can EQ just how much you like it. Just sounds a little off. Yeah. And distortion is, yeah, overdrive in this way is a plugin to add distortion to your song, or to your lead in this case, and just add some aggressiveness to it. And and I forgot to add the glide to it, so that's why it doesn't sound like one. Awesome. All right. Now to make sure that we're gonna make it in 1 hour, I'm just gonna start working on some kind of a breakdown real quick. And what I always do is I use the top melody that I just made for the drop part. I'm just getting a regular piano, because if it sounds sick on a piano, then you can add a different sound to it, and it will sound okay as you make it. Let me see, where is, oh, just gonna the sampler in Logic, and then we have something called GarageBand here, where you have like all like pianos and harps and everything. Yeah, just a regular piano. No FX, nothing. I just want to hear what I'm doing. Just gonna lower the volume of this one so I can hear what I'm doing. So now I'm gonna just solo these two. I actually like that, but I think maybe we should go for something. This way, creating chords, I always start with the bass notes, so with the lower notes, and because I really can't play chords on a piano, but I can do, I know how it works, but same goes for here, like I need to see it, so I'm just gonna draw it. So the first step is for me always like find the bass note, so yeah, like what an E. Also, right now the key of this track is C, what is it? I don't know the English word for it, but actually it's this black key here. G sharp, that's it. And a lot of producers always start with the bass key of the whole song, but in my opinion it's cooler if you start with a different key that people won't expect, so you get a different harmony, because it would be logic for me to just start with this, because it's the bass note. But in this case I think E is cool. It gets a more, yeah, it just adds a different vibe to it. Oh, yeah, this is Logic acting up again. All right. And I know Logic is like for the piano roll, like I really prefer Ableton, but I'm just so used to Logic that I can't work with something else anymore. And now you would expect me to go up again, but in this case I think this is cooler. Just adds more emotion to it, and emotion is always good. But this just sounds really plain and not full enough, so we're gonna add more chords. Let's start with a 7 on top of it. Usually for chords, what really easy is you can work with starting with the bass note +5, which is like a quint, or +7. But in this case this won't work because I switched up. Well, it does, but I want to add something different. And there we have like the tears in the eyes. It just, I always play around with it as just till I'm satisfied with it. Let's see, that's maybe B. Yeah, it could be more. See where I'm going? It's always a good beginning, but this is not a, yeah, it is a chord, they are all quints, but I want to make a chord out of it, so just add one more note to it, and then it's gonna start. Wait, am I right now? Yeah, let's add a D sharp. Now you can hear everything. Yeah, this is gonna sound weird, but this key here, it's gonna be an F, and it's actually not in the spectrum, but I think it's gonna sound really cool. It's just gonna make it sound more, yeah, interesting to listen to, because it's not what you're expecting to hear. See, or I can do this, just make it. See, that adds more body to it. That's too low for this piano, but Anyways, I think we have a good start. But I'm not going to use this for the breakdown because it's already in the lead sound of the drop. So I'm just going to add another melody to it. And a really cool VST that I like from Logic again is the Sculpture. It has some really freaky, like industrial sounds almost, and I use it all the time. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, yeah, industrial is the only way I can put it. Maybe add a plucked sound. Yeah, it sounds a little Asian. Some kind of Kashmir sound. Indian, it's called Namaste as well. Cool. This one is cool. I'm gonna add a little bit more reverb to it with the Valhalla. So it sounds more open, more wider, bigger as well. And then for a breakdown, that's what I like. And then again, I just start playing on the piano. Okay, using those notes sounds cool, so I'm just gonna get my piano roll again and start, maybe start a little bit higher. Let me see. All right. I'm just gonna draw them in again. And everything helps to create a good feeling in the track. So. That's cool. So it finishes off the repeating of the notes, and I think repeating is always good because it's easier to listen to. It's easier to remember it. So. And obviously we need some low frequencies in there, and that's really easy. You just grab your chords that you made, or the bass sounds where you start with, just delete the top part of it, and there you have the sub part for your track. I'm gonna use the ES2, I guess. Let me see. And just hear bass, we got some SLA. That sounds cool. Whoa, that's a little bit too low, my subwoofer here. What I like about this bass is that it's like a UK garage bass, like really wide. The only thing we need to do, we have to cut the high frequencies in here. I would say like until 200. So it's like what you hear in like Reload, for instance, like the Swedish House Mafia is doing. It's like a really wide bass. It just adds so much energy to the whole track. So when I play it together, it will sound like this. And then of course we're gonna add the EDM trick of the year. It's by Sugar Bytes, called the Effect Tricks. And what it does, you can actually do a shitload of cool tricks with it. You can either reverse it or in this case I'm gonna use the vinyl mode, which is here. And what it does, you can see it like walking around here. It's playing here, and then I want to have like a vinyl stop. So I'm going to vinyl. Then you have some, you have slow stop or a really short stop. This is, in my opinion, it's too short. We want to have a slow stop, which goes. Maybe let's say that it has to start over here. But so you get like a really natural, like vinyl stop, and it gives a really cool effect if you play everything through. One big advice that I can give you by doing this is that you always have to make sure that if I look at the analyzer, and when it stops, it just goes down. So here is the frequency. You see, you get a really big boost around the 20 Hertz. That's something you don't want to, because it eats all your dynamics. So you want to make sure that you cut it around like 50 Hertz. That's where you don't need the low frequencies. And you still have you can still hear the stop doing his job. All right. Let me save this one, by the way. Yeah. Okay. So now we have a melody. At least we have like something that we can work with. We have like a really simple drop for now. Doesn't sound as fat as it should, but that's not for now. We can finish that later. We can add some more leads to it, some more layers to thicken up the sound. But what's really important for now is that I'm gonna work on the structure of the track, and structure is really important because this is what's you either have to decide if it's gonna be a radio track or a club track. A club track needs a longer introduction and a longer outro as well. So I think for now, I'm just gonna park this, let's say somewhere here. We want to have like an intro that will last, let's say 1 minute. So at bar 34, you can see it over here. That's where it's exactly 1 minute. Oh, that's with the sidechain on. So what I always do, I make a quick structure. We want the drop to last for 30 seconds. And what's really cool with Logic, you can press L and your sample will just go on forever. And by doing this, you can easily, you don't have to copy and paste it all the time. Same goes for those guys over here. So right now, this is just me putting the structure together. No FX, no claps, no hi-hats, nothing going on. It's just structure. from here on it should go into the chords, so chord section. We want to make sure that this breakdown lasts for, let's say, another minute. So we have 130, and we have 8 bars, 16 bars, 32 bars. And then over here we want to have the... So it's like a puzzle. I'm actually making sure that in every 8 bars something is happening. But I'm gonna do that later. So this is the structure of the track. We're gonna have 30 seconds of drop, 1 minute breakdown with build up somewhere around here. So we don't need those there. This is gonna be a big build up. This is gonna be the second drop part. And we're gonna need an outro of another, I think 30 seconds, because when DJs start mixing in on the drop, then they will have enough time to end of the song. Alright, so what I always do, this is my kick drum. We don't need this anymore. I'm gonna add a low cut. We're gonna cut the kick drum like on 100 Hertz. So you'll only have the attack and a little bit of the mid frequencies there. So that's just, it's nice to mix it in. There are no like banging frequencies in there because you're in the introduction, you don't need them yet. Then we need some claps, some cool stuff. I actually have my own sample pack as well, so I have some claps here that I use all the time, but I always layer them, so it's just, oh, nice. Here for instance the clap this is the Dannic clap. It's called Pipeline because that's a track that I made in 2012. So it's been a while, and I still use the clap because it sounds really clean. And I like a small clap. And what I did with this clap as well, and that's really important, it's not interfering with the attack of the kick drum. So when I zoom in, you can see that this is actually the attack of the clap over here, and I put the clap right in the middle. So here's the attack of the kick drum. And it's actually, yeah, there's a little attack here, but it doesn't interfere with the attack of the kick because here is an empty space. So it's just, it sounds nice and wide, and it sounds really clean already. And I didn't do anything, any EQing or whatever. Just gonna make sure that the kick is always the loudest in the mix. Again, that's kind of, yeah, that's a taste thing, I guess. Some people like the kick to be less aggressive, but I like the kick to be upfront. And you can hear that in all my tracks, I guess. Alright, so let's start with this clap. We want to have the clap in the introduction. Then after 30 seconds, we're gonna introduce the low frequencies of the kick drum. So right now I'm just working really fast. Usually it takes me a while to actually be happy with everything, but this is for the sake of the challenge. This is just a bypass, so I have the low cut right here, and this is where I say, okay, here you have to bypass the single EQ. So right now it goes off here, boom. And there's the full kick drum again. So this is the part where the DJ should mix it over. We need some shakers or something. That's a little bit. Maybe some claps. That sounds good. Some claps to fill up the high frequencies. This is very 404. Maybe we should make it more interesting, switch it up a little by putting one here. so you get like more of a rhythm already. Like that. And I make a folder out of it, so I don't need to touch it anymore, so I can just use the L button again, the loop button actually. Simple, and it already sounds good. Maybe add some special effects. Here we got some FX to fill it up a little. Here we got a cool Vengeance sample called Swedish FX. Always does the job. No, I forgot. Snare fill. Looking for a snare fill to introduce the snare fill new. Drum. Okay, struggling to find a cool drum roll. Okay, I'm not gonna make a drum roll right now. I'm just gonna use something from a sample pack. That's why I use the search function here. It's really quick and easy. Just want to make sure that we're gonna finish this track in time. Some white noise is always cool to use. Maybe we can actually introduce the lead sound over here. But then just I'm gonna cut it right here so you don't hear the whole melody of the drop. This is just part of the introduction, building up the energy, so you'll just hear. That. And then another cool thing that you can use is the cutoff from the VST itself. So either way you're using Silent, for instance, or Nexus, and the cutoff is just actually just a filter. Sounds cool. And I'm gonna automate it, and the automation is you're actually drawing what this knob should do. So I want this knob to go up all the way till, let's say, like number 25 over there, or maybe all the way till when the drop hits, just to build that tension. But this is the starting point, and let me see, then I have to enable the touch button. So everything I touch right now, you'll see it happen over here. So when I play it, I start here. Now this line is going up as well, meaning I can just, meaning I don't have to do it live. So, all right. So now I can actually precisely draw what I want this knob to do. So if I want it from here, from 30 seconds on, to introduce himself by filtering it. And this is a major fill because this drum roll is not 128 BPM, as you can hear. Need some more presence. Oh. Anyways, Now we need to make it more interesting. We need to make it more bigger. I'm gonna use the Valhalla shimmer for this. So what I do, I just put this on 0, and what it actually does is it's like a giant, really big reverb, which is gonna, yeah, I don't know how to say it. It's gonna add a lot of tension to towards the drop. So I'm just gonna go into my automation, go to Valhalla shimmer, the wet and dry. So from here I want it to kick off, let's say till here. And what it does, you can hear it. It's actually like it's gonna be sucked into this giant hole or something. Now we need, let's say, some cool uplifters. I'm gonna use Vengeance. Over here, FX. Got uplifters, downlifters, impacts. Maybe we add an impact. That sounds like a major impact. That's perfect. We're gonna add it here because. All right. Now we need a cool uplifter, and by selecting the size here, I know if it's gonna be like an uplifter longer than just 2 seconds, because I want it. Let's say this one. Just gonna add this one. That's even a longer one, which is cool. Now I need to make sure that it's stopping at the right moment. I want it to stop right here. Just gonna cut it. And we need to make sure that it's being sidechained because the kick drum is playing in this part and it's already. Also EQing everything, so even EQing all the low frequencies from this FX. And then I forgot to open up the filter. I'm going to just add the clap over here, the clap from the beginning. Just mix it a little bit. That's the only thing I can work if it doesn't sound right or the way I want it to sound. So I'm always, while I'm producing, I'm always making sure all my levels are like okay. I'm gonna add the same uplifter here again, but I'm gonna make sure that it's not, because this drop is just 30 seconds and the whole uplift is 30 seconds as well. I'm gonna make sure you won't hear it as good as in the introduction of the drop. So it's just it's there, but it's not on the foreground. It needs to be on the background a little, so like that. Maybe even more. Let's say I started from here. Okay, that's a little bit too much for over here. Okay, now we have to work our way up to the melody and the chords, well, I think it's cool to add like some kind of slam effects. Of course it's slam effects because it's super nice. Here. It's gonna pull you into the breakdown. Okay, now from here on we wanna have the chords playing. And as you remembered, I started with just a piano, but maybe it's cool to add something different. So I'm gonna open SynMaster. This is a VST that I got from Martin Garrix, or at least I know he's using it a lot. It has some really cool sounds in it. And I just opened it. This is the first preset. I think you can sense the Martin Garrix sounds in there. It sounds really dreamy, but we want maybe something arpeggiated. Arpeggiator means it will not play just the notes, but it will add some kind of random order into it. We'll show you like. So it's playing the chords, but it's doing all those small notes himself. I just got 10 minutes left. Holy shit. Okay, I need to be quick. Yeah, that's okay. Then I'm just gonna be quick. Some bells. Here, that's what I mean. It's not really easy to finish a track in 1 hour, but oh, that's cool. Okay, now I need to get this filtered. I'm gonna use a high cut to introduce it. So let's say, right. Okay, I'm gonna filter it in. Come on. Oh, and the good thing about Logic Pro, it saves everything. So whenever this is gonna, stay with me. Here we go. So it's actually having a hard time right now. I don't know, maybe it's the SynMaster. All right. Here we go. Then we get the break part. And then from here on, we want to introduce the top melody. We're going to do the same thing. Going to make sure that it's filtered in, so it's not like same thing. Automation. Going to single EQ, frequencies. Boom. Introduce it like that. So over here, you can. Want you there. And what I want to do now is show you guys really fast how I do like the major big synths breakdowns. Starting from here. Because it's actually really easy. We're gonna cut all the chords and we're gonna make, oh, then I just need a different synth you do it with. I'm gonna use a preset for this. Where is it? Frank Risotto synth, also very cool. I'm just gonna make some kind of a groove or rhythm with this. All right. And now the trick is getting those big synths. It's just layering everything with actually everything you can find. What's really cool is just to make some classic trance leads always work because they sound big already. And then we want the bass to play as well. Also, but we need a different bass sound for it. The Dear, no, that's not the right one. Not the Dear Life. This is the, yeah, this is the right one. But because the notes are so small, you don't hear the bass, so we need to. Okay, and it will sound a little like this. But I'm not happy with this yet. Usually my layers are like maybe like 5 or 8, just to give that big feeling to it. Another cool plugin that I use all the time, which gives that edgy feeling, is the Novelty character. Well, the word says it gives that character sound to your synths. It can really boost the high frequencies without, let your ears bleed. Now we need like some kind of fall. And here again, we're just gonna copy this and maybe even add the claps from here on. We need some white noise. Oh. There we go. Some cool Skrillex sounds over there. that's not working. I'm getting stressed out actually. We're not gonna finish it. Okay, just no. Yeah, perfect. White noise, sidechain. And actually it's really easy to just copy this part into the build-up. Wait, oh, let me put. And to me the second drop always needs to be the biggest drop. Just gonna make a really quick, just gonna copy all this. Place it over here, yes, copy. Same goes for this one. Oh yeah. And now we want to introduce this part again. Make sure that, oh. And I want to introduce I want to make it drop like this, maybe add a little effects to it, some white noise again. And I totally nailed it. No, not. Maybe actually just introduce the whole thing over here. And what's really cool or easy to make like a flawless introduction is just to stretch these and make sure that you sustain this chord. It needs a lot of automation, obviously, because right now it's just the volume is going crazy. Okay, the drop sounds like shit, but the idea is there. This is just a basic idea, and then obviously all the sounds need to get need to be modulated to make it sound cool. Maybe even layer it. Sometimes I can actually just throw it all away, start over with a brand new drop. But yeah, in just 1 hour, this is the only thing I can do for now. It's actually been a real challenge. I'm happy that I actually have like a structure of a track. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish this one, but let me know in the comments if you want me to finish it. there, no extra FX, nothing, just because of the time we had. But usually I will fill this up, like every 8 bars something is happening, just to keep it interesting to listen to. Making a track in 1 hour was really a challenge. So for me, usually the idea starts within an hour, but then all the extra elements, the way it sounds, that usually takes up all the time. And yeah, sometimes I finish the track in 3 days, but sometimes it can take up to a month. That's it. It sounds like my first Sony, but you know, the idea is there.